At this point, I feel like I should be asking the UFC for a title shot. Welcome back to a brand new video. If you guys are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share button. There's a lot of talk on Twitter on the MMA world that Jorge Masvidal might be getting a title shot. What is going on? I'm going to break that all down for you. Everything and more. Like I said, hit the subscribe button and let's get into it. Everyone knows Jorge Masvidal by this point. The guy's been in the sport for a long time. Had that tremendous knockout against Ben Askren. And you know, he had that good year in 2019, but ever since then has lost every other fight. So how could he be getting a title shot? Let's back it up. You know, August, Kamaru Usman was considered maybe one of the greatest welterweights of all time. And he fights Leon Edwards again and dominates Leon Edwards basically from bell to bell up until the last minute where he gets knocked out cold, making Leon the champ. And obviously it would have to make a Usman fight for the third time, right? Third fight was set to be in the UK, but seems like the UFC might have some change of plans. Where did this rumor come from? So let's start. I want to give a quick shout out to the guys at Fred Talks Fighting. I'm actually a fan of the content, so if you guys want to go check it out, go ahead. He does interviews with lots of fighters, YouTube boxers, and also just now regular fighters. He did an interview with Steve Wonderboy Thompson coming off of his win against Kevin Holland.
Kamaru Usman is having hand surgery. I know they want to fight somebody in March, and they're looking at Jorge Masvidal. But
he said that Kamaru Usman is getting a hand surgery, which I've heard nothing else about. This is the first time I'm hearing about this. Although you will remember Kamaru Usman had a hand surgery last year, and that had him out for a while as well. But when Dana was talking at the press conference last weekend, people were asking him about that Leon Usman 3 fight, and he didn't seem to say anything about Usman being hurt. Usman out, the UFC is apparently looking to add Jorge Masvidal to that card to fight Leon. I don't need to explain this beef, but if I do, about 3 years ago, Jorge Masvidal fights Darren Till in London, knocks out Darren Till. Leon Edwards also wins that night. The two meet up backstage, and Masvidal gives him a 3-piece and a soda. Since then, the two have never actually seen each other, and they were scheduled to fight a year ago at UFC 269, but Masvidal had to pull out due to like a rib injury, which was kind of suspected, not really confirmed, but that's what Colby said. So what do I think about all of this? Well, look, if you look at UFC history, one of the most undeserved title shots, in my opinion, was Michael Bisping and Dan Henderson, which is kind of a sort of similar situation. Michael Bisping about 5-6 years ago or so, but Michael Bisping fought Dan Henderson for the second time, even though Dan Henderson was ranked number 13 or something like that, and Michael Bisping was the champion. And it was because Dan Henderson had beat Michael Bisping at UFC 100 and had a really good famous knockout against Michael Bisping. I guess the only difference in the situation that Dan Henderson was coming off of a win, and Jorge Masvidal has just lost to Colby, so it does seem a little ridiculous. Ideally, that you would like to have him kind of have some sort of buffer fight, even if the fight wasn't really even a ranked guy. That would have at least helped this situation. Obviously, the fans are like, what the hell is going on? Why are we giving Jorge Masvidal a title shot? So I'm gonna give you my thoughts. I'm gonna be honest, as much as I think that this is ridiculous, I do feel a little conflicted here. Because on the one hand, of course, us fans, we don't want this. Like, look, I think pretty much a lot of people know that Leon probably would beat Jorge. And I mean, I say probably because Jorge's bread and butter is the striking, so this would be a fight that favors him. And it's, of course, a huge disaster if Masvidal wins, because what do you do with Usman? Do you just have them fight for a third time, even though Usman clearly showed that he's the better fighter? Of course, me personally, I really wouldn't choose the fight. I'd rather the Usman fight, because that's a little bit more competitive, obviously. But on the other hand, you gotta respect the champ. You know, when Michael Bisping was the champion, the reason he wanted Dan Henderson was to avenge that loss. And although Leon didn't suffer a technical loss to Jorge, obviously that hurt him in the eyes of the people because they saw Jorge disrespect him like that. Leon has been wanting this fight for 3 years, and honestly, let's be real, Jorge Masvidal is a huge star. Leon Edwards has fought in this organization for a long time. I really wouldn't mind him getting that pay-per-view payday because he would get pay-per-view points off that. He also would be in his hometown, attempt to avenge his loss. It's really good if you're Leon Edwards. But of course, the fans, we're not really going to want this. But let me know what you guys think about the whole situation. This is a fight that you even want to see because of so Leon can benefit. Let me know in the comment section below. Also, thank you guys so much for the support in the last video. I'm trying to read through all the comments right now, but so many supportive comments. I'm trying to, like I said, I want to read every one of them, but there's just so many. I think there's like 70 or something like that at this point. So I'm trying to scroll through them all, but I love the talk. I love the community. The whole reason I do this is honestly not for, you know, money, clicks, whatever. The reason I do this is because I want to start dialogue amongst the community and have a community of our own to talk MMA. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like if you did. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.